Good morning, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It's 11:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, June 6, 2021. Okay, let's just roll straight into it. This is not financial advice. This video is intended for educational purposes only. Stay up to date on Twitter if you want to know what my intraday updates are, exit and entry points, as well as major market movements. Stay up to date with my latest videos to be notified of as and when I do these videos. Now, and I do them daily. So Nucypher allocation right now, 100% baked in at 43.7 cents. I'm excited about it because I feel that Nucypher overall will do very, very well, especially in light of its recent hard merge with Keep. And it hasn't happened yet. And we're going to go into why, but it's coming. It's coming for sure. Let's move forward. Just so everyone knows, we're going to cover Nucypher US dollar. By the way, I've identified a new pattern here, which could be very compelling for folks watching. Bitcoin, we're going to go through that and what's going on there, as well as Nucypher's inner strength, which I compare to Bitcoin. Nucypher to Bitcoin, I use Bitcoin because it's a finite supply. It's not a runaway currency like US dollars, British pound, euro. All of those currencies are getting printed day in and day and night. So as I see it, the best way to compare something to true value is to compare it to Bitcoin because of its finite supply. So its value is certain. So let's go into the markets. So Nucypher US dollar, we broke up the trend, we broke down the trend. Something happened, and as I've been looking at this chart, let's take a look at the latest that I've started to notice in terms of a new chart pattern. What I'm going to do right now is make those parallel lines disappear. And just let's see what's happening here. Over time, it was kind of sus in the sense that, and by sus, I mean suspicious for those that don't know what that means. But it started to feel like it was broadening, but we kind of had this high here. So everything kind of looked like a parallel line. Well, given the recent action lately and where we went up to, it's starting to resemble more of a broadening wedge. So we have to keep this in mind. And by the way, a downward broadening wedge is fairly bullish. So I wouldn't say that I would go in at this point if I had money on the side, because we have some ways down here. We could continue to oscillate, but the trek up at the end of this downward broadening wedge is generally bullish. So just wanted to point that out. Now let's go to Bitcoin. Lots going on in Bitcoin. I don't know, like over the past 24 hours, heaps of news on this. And it really had nothing, very little to do. It really didn't have much to do with Elon Musk. So again, we're continuing to respect this long-term trend. So again, this has been over a year in the making, and I continue to contend that this will continue to rise. And as I've said 100 times, I think it's going to hit at least 80,000 before the end of the year. Now, let's look at the shorter term details of what's happening here. I feel like this is an upside down head and shoulders pattern that we can come back into here. Well, what has happened over the last few days that may be helping this pair? Well, let's just take a look. Well, one of the negative things that came out yesterday was that apparently the Chinese Twitter called Weibo was told by Chinese government officials to disable accounts for certain crypto influencers on their platform. So whoop-de-do. But then, what we're finding is that even like El Salvador yesterday just came out saying from Miami that he was going to, from the Bitcoin conference in Miami, saying that he was going to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender in El Salvador. Now, South America and Central America love this stuff. I mean, their currencies are so volatile down there that they need something much more stable. And they have a Lightning network, a Strike network that will help to, we'll be able to use Bitcoin actually as a transactional currency. So that should be very interesting to see. I think that's great news for El Salvador. And let's see how this plays out. I think things will get a lot better. And in terms of adoption, we see it right here in the States. We see it in Texas. We see it in Wyoming. We see it in Colorado. Look, I'm telling you, this is not going away anytime soon. And the more U.S. states get it, guess what? The federal government is going to have to eat it. And it's in a good way they'll have to eat it, right? Because states kind of have the power overall. If multiple states start saying we want this, it almost always happens that way. So we'll see how this thing plays out. But states ultimately govern their states more so than the government can. Now let's take a look at other quick news on, speaking of which, for Bitcoin, and then we're going to move into Nucypher. But Jack Dorsey basically saying that if he wasn't working in Twitter or Square, he'd be all over Bitcoin working on that. And in fact, guess what? Day after, he said that that's what he was going to do. He said he was going to invest, Square was going to invest $5 million to build solar-powered, energy-efficient Bitcoin. So make no mistake about it. Bitcoin is going to be here to stay, and that's all I want to talk about for it. But let's move into Nucypher Bitcoin and find out kind of the short-term price action here. So if I if I zoom into this pattern here, we kind of are kind of going sideways right now. To be expected. We've seen this before. Let me find out where. Like right around here, very similar. This is slightly longer term, but we kind of went to the side. Same thing over here. We went down sharp and we kind of went down to the side. So I think we're going to probably stay to the sidelines here, which is good. Why? I want to stay above this smile line. Now, I told you earlier, how would you trade this? I mean, I wouldn't do it, but some people, what they like to do is they like to trade the bands. So they may sell up here, buy down here, sell up here, buy down here, sell up here, buy down here. But now we might be doing a faster inflection here. If you look at this pattern here, we had this sharp circular motion, kind of more ovular than circular. Here's a little more circular, but you know, we could technically ride this smile on the top of the line on the way up, showing a bit more of a sharper return to a Nucypher rally. So we have to see how this plays out. But more importantly, what's happening is that the vote is going to end not too far away. We've got another 4 or 5 days for this to end. And right now, for the Nucypher's side of the equation, 100% of the voters are supporting the new merge with Nucypher. So I consider that incredibly bullish for both companies, Nucypher and Keep. And by the way, Keep's results are very similar. I didn't put that here because we're not doing a Keep video. But so that everyone understands that this proposal that we went through a few videos ago sounds like the deal. And I concur with the approach and their aspirations in terms of broadening this network out for a much bigger pond. Anyway, I'm out. Have a great weekend, everyone. Hope everyone's well. Take care. Bye.